we'll have it without the intro.
You'll decide.
Yeah.
Bachelor's degree was business and computer science.
All right.
Master's was social work.
How does that align? I mean, like,
It works perfect for me. I mean, I'm the CEO of a group practice.
disease versus disorder.
Disease is typically viewed from the brain, and the self-support views it kind of from the soul. Where gambling disorder is a clinical term that we use that is in the DSM-5. So it's semantics.
You know, I destroyed my life because I was gaming too much.
The governments make money from it. So I guess the government would have to tax gaming.
That's an interesting idea.
Yeah.
There would be a good money out of it.
You should gamble with me. I'll be that little voice behind you that says, I know you almost won, but you lost.
Right. But people talk a lot about evolution, and I align on that as well. And it's not like it would happen itself. You know, people have to do things in order to accelerate it and in order to progress it. And it brings me to another large area of your focus, on which we luckily work together.
Yes.
And it is the IPGGC.
Another acronym.
Another acronym, but I'm gonna say it in full. So the International Problem Gambling and Gaming Certification Organizations.
Yep.
It is a organization that has been working for more than a decade in the area of certifying counselors. So we are talking people purely from treatment, with the proper education, with the proper training, with the proper background, and giving them the certificates which are going to say this person is on the right place, on the right state to successfully treat people with gambling addiction.
Right.
This is the organization which you are now work as a president.
Right.
And I wanted to expand on this a bit more. How do you see the work of this organization is changing the landscape of treatment providers, of counselors, and how it can impact this area of reduction of gambling harm?
Right. Yeah, I mean, the board's been around a long time. It had a different name because it was very focused on counselor certification, right? And so changing the funding to be a charity, and then we decided to rename it at the same time to be more expansive because of gaming as well. But I've been a part of the board for a long time, probably too long. Like I had to roll off for a year because I had been on for so long, according to the bylaws.
Yeah, to take a break.
Right? And I think it's just the perfect timing right now. You have people with lived experience that are more willing to have a role to tell their story than ever before. You didn't see it like that 10, 15 years ago. Prevention. Now there's a big push with prevention, especially at the government level or social responsibility aspects. And people really can be employed full time as prevention specialists. So you take all of those, and what was happening is we were getting a lot of individuals that wanted to be in the problem gambling or gaming space. They wanted to get certified, and we only had one.
Yes.
We had the clinical track. And so it was just everybody's, it's ever expanding, obviously, with all of the expansion of gambling. And so we needed to expand to match the demand. And then we didn't even realize how many countries really want to be a part of it and want to have something that we, because it was very U.S. focused for a long time.
Yeah, so the organization is expanding, and I feel like that this is the time, like you've said, that it can really have an impact because, like some people say that the timing is everything. I think it's quite true, but not all the time. But for this one, I think it really aligns because it has the right kind of environment in different areas. So how would you say, but now, again, back to the treatment side. How would you say is the difference between a person who is a regular counselor psychiatrist doing their work and the person who is certified by the IPGGC?
Yeah. So anybody, clinical might say, oh yeah, I can help you without the proper training. And when I just said, about 40% is different. And so they're actually practicing outside their scope of practice, practicing outside their area of competence by just saying, yeah, I can treat you with a gambling problem, even though I'm not certified, I'm not trained anything. So that's kind of one group. The second group is people will get training. Well, that's just like going to class. And I say this like, oh, does that mean you've actually met a person with a gambling disorder? Just because they've had training. And so certification takes it and says you need training and you have to apply what you've learned with 100 hours, 2,000 hours, what have you. And you have to be supervised by an expert to help make sure what you learned you're applying correctly. And so that's the most important category, right? And people do value letters after someone's name because it says, wow, you didn't just take a training, right? And go ahead and just say, I'm an expert at it. So certifications are a big deal. In the profession, it's a big deal because it takes a long time to get them. It shows that area of expertise. And so I think it's really important to emphasize that. Second, there's research, but it's not in the area of gambling treatment. It's in substance use and in mental health that shows that patients actually have better outcomes when they are treated by someone who has a certification because of that training and application. So it's helping patients or clients get better faster. So they have better outcomes. So my goal would be that we get to do some research with the certification board so that we can say the same thing about gambling and gaming.
Right. But this is not a commercial thing. This is a charity. And what is required from this individual in order to get certified? Like, what do they need to do? What do they need to go through in order to receive it?
It depends on the track. Right, so prevention is going to be different than clinical.
Let's say that the clinical treatment.
The clinical one is probably the flagship and the one that's most difficult. You have to take 30 hours of training that's specific to problem gambling, and it has to be approved because we don't want people to say, oh, I created this 30-hour course, and it doesn't fit the outline. Then you have to take an exam and pass it. So it's a 200-question exam.
200? Okay.
Then you have to do 100 hours of applied knowledge while you're getting supervision from a board-approved clinical consultant. And then you have to submit your application and have it be accepted by the board. For some people, depending on the setting they're in, they could probably do all of that in about 6 months. Some people, it takes 2 years, everything in between.
That's quite comprehensive. But then you have a person who really is suitable for doing it. But you mentioned that the organization now offers other certifications because this is heavy stuff. And as we were discussing even before, like, it's not only the treatment side, there are other areas that can be impactful for individuals in order to decrease the gambling-related harm. So what is there currently? What the IPGGC is offering as a certifications currently, and what it is working on, because I know that...
Right. The clinical track actually expanded for gaming disorder, so internet video gaming. And so we're building that one out, but there's a basic one. And then we launched the gambling recovery specialist for people with lived experience in gambling, whether they have it themselves or they're affected other family member. So there's a lot of peer support, peer work that's going on. And this is a really important certification. And these individuals want this, right? They're very proud of their lived experience. They're proud of their recovery, and having letters after their name showing their credibility to do the work is really important. We're building out the prevention specialist, and then we're going to be building out the industry. So we believe that people in the industry as individuals will want to get certified in understanding, how to help patrons You know the vocabulary a little better than I do on the industry side, but you know how to
But
handle
not sure about the
complaints,
English language.
right? How to handle complaints and all
Yeah.
that, you know, and see when someone is distressed and how to handle that.
You know, I think
Yeah.
that the industry part is very innovative and promising in my eyes as well, because I don't really see a future in which safer gambling is going to be decreasing. So I think it's going to be only increasing. I cannot really say like what is going to be the speed of it. But then the individuals working in the industry, they can use it as their own asset in
Yes.
order to get a job at different
Yes.
companies. And then companies, they can brag about, you know, having certified individuals, people who've been through the proper stuff,
Right.
in order to be not only responding to individuals in distress, but also spotting the patterns, being able to read the behavioral signs. And I think this is the future that we will get to, hopefully in like 5 years, maybe 10. You know, I'm just taking guesses. But
Yeah.
this is the trajectory that I see. So, yeah, in my eyes, and that is also the reason why I joined the board and why I'm so happy to be there, because not only with the expanding of the certification for treatment providers, because this is really undeveloped, especially in some areas of the world. This is driven by the commercial part,
Right.
safeguarded by the regulators, because I cannot really imagine many companies that would be doing it on their own.
Right.
Commercial companies, gambling companies, even though there are some, thankfully. Yeah, but it's like it's completing the circle.
It is.
Yeah,
That's exciting.
Right. So what is next with the organization? Right. We've been through the certificates. Now it is mainly US focused.
Yeah.
The idea or the goal is to expand. So how this should go? Like, what is the next region?
Yeah. So we just launched our partnership with Latin America, specifically in Chile, with a woman who is already doing a lot of responsible gambling trainings, and she actually has a social work education. And Mariella, I think you've met with her once or twice.
No, I'm not sure.
Okay.
I was having a conversation with someone from Chile, but I'm not sure it was her.
Okay. So we just expanded that. We have
Yeah.
our partnership in the Philippines, and these are models where we're empowering them with what they know in culturally specific, so that we don't come in and say, "Here's our training and follow it." Right? It's like, what is culturally relevant? What do we need to do to stand it up? And what's the degree, education baseline, like there's a lot of things that are different from one culture to another.
Yeah.
And so we're really trying to help these through these partnerships, help them almost be a mini version of IPGGC in their country.
Yeah.
Right.
And we can see the results in the Philippines.
Yeah.
Having the conferences like that for 2 annuals being
Yeah.
attended by the major, representatives of the region of Manila and also the PAGOR, the
Mayor and
regulator.
PAGOR, and yeah, all of that.
It's good to have something that you can use as an example and which can bring all of that positive stuff.
And we have individuals from, obviously from Singapore, from Japan, Iceland. There's a treatment center in Iceland that I helped all their clinicians get certified. They only have one treatment center in Iceland, so right. But so different, but still culturally relevant. It's amazing what we all have in common across the globe is online gambling.
Yeah. So let's talk about gaming, because that's a part which is quite often overlooked. I mean, we talk about, the gambling in gaming,
Right.
but we do not really talk about gaming addiction.
Right.
I've said gambling addiction so many times that every time I want to say gaming addiction, my brain just switches.
Well, not only that, but the industry called it responsible gaming
Yeah.
to get away from the stigma of the word gambling. And so now everybody's kind of, tongue-tied over, what do you mean by gaming? So gaming, video, internet,
Yes.
gaming. It depends on the country. Obviously, places like Singapore, very advanced. There's a lot of more regulations, like around the loot boxes and what's banned in other countries. But it still looks like it's a little slow. It's almost the same as
It's
gambling
very slow.
was, right? It's by itself. There's no funding for it. Is there a diagnosis? All of these kinds of things looks exactly like gambling did 20 years ago.
Yeah, it was like when I was you don't really see in the gambling world, you don't really see many sessions or people talking about the video gaming
Right.
addiction and stuff
Right.
like that. My mother was telling me I'm addicted to gaming 15 years ago. I was spending a little more time than I was supposed
Right.
to. Who knows if it was addiction or not? I don't do it anymore because, other things came in life. The worst thing about it is even when I play some games, it does not bring me the same amount of excitement and pleasures, which I don't really like that thing. But anyway, it was just an example that
Yeah.
in my eyes, in my idea, it was here even before. And 15 years fast forward, now we are here talking about the gambling addiction. And now, okay, from all of a sudden, the gaming addiction is coming up.
Yeah.
And the worst part about it is the, how these two are combined now. You mentioned loot boxes.
Yes.
That's a classic, right?
Yep.
But there is so much more. Just recently, I was reading an article what is now the biggest innovation in gambling games. And it was mainly about putting the gaming features
Yep.
into gambling games in order to get this gamification running.
Yep.
So people will have reasons why to come back to that game. Because you don't have it with regular slots, with, I would say, naturally, right, traditional casino or gambling games.
Well, and it's happening also because the younger generations have grown up gaming, and so it's a natural right into gambling to make sure that it's gamified so that it appeals to them.
Yeah.
But the average age of a gamer is 34, so most people think it's like 8 or 9, and it's
No, it is,
34.
but it is going down, isn't it? I remember you were sharing a study which was showing that among underaged children, the gambling is very prevalent. And I feel like it's because of the mix, they would get into gambling through gaming, or
Yeah.
they would be exposed to gambling features in gaming.
Absolutely. You can play a game when you're 5, and the thing about gaming is you do a task and you are rewarded by completing that task by
Yeah.
moving to the next level.
Yes.
Right? And so you've already earned moving to the next level, and they put a slot machine in where you have to pull the handle before you go to the next level, which has nothing to do with going to the next level. They just inserted gambling right in there. And so a 5-year-old is pulling a virtual slot machine, right?
Or just a wheel of fortune,
Yeah.
you complete the level. Now here is your bonus. Just spin the wheel,
Right.
and you have it.
Right.
I wonder if it was the gambling companies have made this, let's talk the gaming companies into putting these features in, and we all are going to profit from that, or
Who
where it
knows?
started.
Who knows? I mean, the gaming industry is such the wild, wild west. There's hardly any regulations.
Is
There's
it, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it seems like no one is really paying attention to this.
No, there's no laws around it half the time. They have those ratings, those parental ratings that no one pays attention to, and it's never enforced, right? It's really the wild, wild west.
So what do you think needs to happen in order to be in a similar environment as we are now with gambling
Yeah,
for the gaming companies?
that's a good question.
How I see it with gambling, the reason why there is a regulation, the reason why the companies feel the impact of problem gambling is because of the public pressure and then the political pressure. Like people are talking about all the harm that the gambling is doing
Yeah.
to them. Media write about it, and then the politicians are taking it because it's something that can move the citizens and the masses. And then you have regulation, but you don't have anything like that with gaming.
You don't.
have very little, like I destroyed my life because I was gaming too much.
You don't. And I would say, and I don't know if this would ever happen, is the reason the gambling industry, has so much oversight is because the governments make money from it.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess the government would have to tax gaming in order to then,
That's an interesting idea.
You
There
know.
would be a good money out of it.
right? Because that's really where it comes from is, when the government's making money from it, then they have to put
Yeah.
regulations around it.
What, like when I consider the gambling features in the things which has been here before, normally attended by children. So let's say trading cards, Pokemon cards. I'm going to talk from my own experience. I mean, there was a time when it was very popular, and
Yeah.
who had the best Pokemon was, the status went up. There was a certain rewards out of it, and not only just having the card, so it was not only monetary. And now we are in the world where it is in online. I mean, I remember from my childhood that I would find the times when I would feel like hooked on it. Like I want my mom to buy me the new packs because, there might be that Pokemon. And I also remember my peers to be quite hooked on that. And it was normal. I mean, like no one was really paying any
Right.
attention to it.
Right.
And now we can compare it. You still have Pokemons, right? But I feel like it's a bit different now. We don't have to talk about it. But I can compare it with in-game cosmetics, skins.
Yep.
So what do you think is the difference now and the impact of such feature, such environment on kids?
I mean, what comes to my mind with that is everybody's trying to have a better avatar, better character. It's going to give them, more, it's better skill. They're going to move up levels more. Like it's all about like, how do I get there faster without putting the work into it? If I can get all of those skins, those, features, then I'm better, faster.
Right. And then also in the eyes of your peers, I feel like they, kids, they have a way, I mean, like how to put it so it would sound well, like they have it more difficult than I have it. And because all the stuff that can create a pressure on you from the internet stuff, not only connected with gaming and gambling,
and their brain is not fully developed yet. So even the pre-puberty, the anxious generation research, Dr. Jonathan Haidt talks about all of it with all the technology, the social media. So it's not just gaming, but that's a big part of it. Even pornography. All of that pre-puberty rewires the brain. So then they get into adulthood super anxious because they're so used to everything being instant on demand, but also pressure, social media comparisons. That's where the gambling comes in because everybody thinks you're supposed to look good and feel good all the time.
All the time, right? Yeah.
So we have to then rewire them as adults.
It's good to hear the voices which are saying like the comfort is the thing that is killing the human, which it's very difficult to explain to children, right?
Yeah.
But staying with gambling, do you think we should educate children about gambling?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, because they're doing it. Like, think about it. Kids grow up already knowing don't drink and drive.
Yeah.
I mean, think about that. It's a really powerful one. Whether they listen or not, debatable, but they know it. There's so much education around it. Parents would say, like, you can't drink until a certain age, or, we don't drink to get drunk. No one's talking about gambling like that. They're all talking about this point spread or the bet and the different athletes or this, and no one's saying, but don't bet your pocket, right? So we need to be doing that at a very young age.
And why is that? Because
Because it's everywhere.
it's everywhere, right? But why? Because of what I have encountered with was like, no, we shouldn't mention gambling to these kids because they might start to gamble.
Yeah.
We should hide it. It should be taboo.
Yeah.
Okay, I think it's a short-minded thing with a lot of stuff. It's like, not letting your children or like kids to even sniff the alcohol. What's going to happen when they are 18 or 21?
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be a burst.
Yeah.
Right? And even with gambling, right, before, you were reasonably able to keep it hidden from them. But now you just cannot. And I don't even know, like, if there is any jurisdiction, any state where there would be something, going on with the education, like a systematic education about gambling.
In the United States, prevention specialists get into the schools and they try and talk about it, but they get like, a millisecond of time to do it, right? What's interesting, though, is if they talk about gaming, they get more attention and there's more of a draw. And so they found ways to talk about gaming and gambling together when they get in front of kids. The don't talk about it because it'll make them want to do it is very short-sighted because it acts like it's a one-time thing. You're supposed to keep talking about it every year, like ongoing as they, are aging, and keep it relevant and keep it, so that when they try something or they do something, they feel the consequences of it, right? People say the same thing about suicide. Don't talk about suicide. You'll make somebody want to,
It's just ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. Usually when you talk about suicide, people actually get help if they were contemplating suicide or had fleeting thoughts.
So like it's going to nudge them into considering, okay, I should do something.
Yes.
Not to end up going down this path.
Yes.
It made me think that if it's in this way, because it's very isolated, and when I imagine it, there is very little opportunity for this to be embraced by these individuals. And there is a kind of an approach which is used for financial education. So how they do it? Actually, it's what my wife is doing. And she's like coordinating it. But I think it's an exciting project. So they educate, the program is about educating kids about finances, how to manage it. But in elementary schools, secondary schools, but they are not creating like another subject on it, but they inherit it, they just implement it into the regular subject, mathematics, socials, and they would just take these little pieces and implement it to it, so they would have it as a part of the natural education. Like, just bring up every now and then, if you have this amount of money and this is what is going to happen with it in this amount of years, what are you going to do with it? And if we could create something like that with gambling, it feels like it could be a lot more successful.
It would, but you'd have to teach a lot of people, like a lot of teachers would have to, right? And then the curriculum and the examples, right? It's a great idea. It's just really hard to implement.
And also with all its stigma with gambling, it will be a very difficult conversation.
Yeah, and in the U.S., teachers have so much to deal with. They're like, not one more thing. Please, not one more thing.
Yeah. Perhaps we'll get there.
Right.
And that brings me to the last area of our discussion. And I've touched upon it before, like with sort of like my vision of where this harm reduction agenda is gonna go. The question more focused on the therapeutic side. Like, do you think that in some time we would be able to get to the point where the gambling addiction in the form as it is now is going to be the time of the past? I mean it in a way that if we will be able to say, like, okay, I mean, that worst part is over, and not we have it with significantly decreased amount of people to going through that.
Well, two things that probably have to happen. One, like we talked about, we have to be integrated more with the operators. We meaning treatment and prevention have to really be integrated with operators, because they have to build things.
Yeah.
They have to have processes. They have to have reporting or what have you. They've got to look for more than just the behavior markers, which is kind of an after the fact. They need to be doing more gatekeeping up front. You and I know an organization it's building that, where you can't be on the platform until you've proven financially what you can afford to bet. And that's a big one. You can't bet in secrecy. You have to do it in a team environment and be transparent. And when you behave, responsibly, you get rewarded with ownership in the organization. Like, those are big things, right? And it's targeting the next generation, so the Gen Zs. What the Gen Alphas are going to need, we've got to think about that, right? And so when you do that, and you're getting that generation that's just getting into legal gambling, I think that's where you're going to have the best impact at reducing gambling-related harms. Right now, what's happening is, online and sports betting went wild, especially in the United States. I know that the UK is 10 years ahead of us with what they've been dealing with, but it was wild. And so we have this epidemic of younger sports bettors that are in a lot of trouble. And that's still after the fact, right? And now it's getting everybody's attention. What are we going to do about it? Are there going to be stricter regulations? But it's still after the fact. You still have to start at the operator level and bring all the right people together.
That's very meaningful. I mean, because people, a lot of times, they just talk about collaboration. And it is in it, right? I mean, but then in reality, it can take 100 different forms or no form at all.
Yeah.
But what you said is really interesting. And if I can sum it up, just to focus on the growing generation, I feel like it's because you can still influence it, or you might have better chances to influence them in this area and do it in a way that they would consider good.
Yeah.
Or they would consider, sometimes I'm saying, like, if we are gonna achieve that safer gambling or harm reduction is being perceived as cool, then we're winning, because people would want to do it.
Yeah. People are going to gamble, right? Teach them how to do it safe and without consequences, so that it's a form of entertainment that, and it's a choice, right? I think that's the key. And we have to also make sure that we're not building gambling with the game design, the psychological design to be so addictive. So an example with sports betting is in an app with the bet, are we showing them what the percentage, I don't even know the terms, the percentage of what the percentage of the win will be.
Right.
If it's 4%,
like
someone might not place that bet.
What is the probability that it's going to work out?
Yeah.
Right.
There's like 5 different ways to show it.
Yeah.
And in the U.S., we show it in the way that's the most convoluted, so no one figures it out.
I think that would highly decrease the amount of parlays.
It would.
But they are exciting,
Yeah.
But it's important to keep it fun. I like to do a parlay because you put a few bucks in it, and there is like a big chance of what if. It's like playing a lottery. I think like almost exactly, but you need to realize there is a very small chance that you are going to win the lottery.
Yes, but that's also part of the dopamine hit. It's such a small chance that you think you're going to be the one that gets it.
All right.
And if you do,
then it's
that's
going
a
to be
serious
up the roof.
hit.
Yes.
That is a serious hit, and then you chase that.
Yeah, I can felt it on my skin. That's when I realized, like, up until that time, I didn't really know, like, why people play slots. And then I once won on a slot, and like, oh hell, I wanted to repeat that. And I was on a good spot because I understood, like, what is happening. But you still can feel it. You can feel it that it's gonna stick with you, and it's gonna.
You should gamble with me. I'll be that little voice behind you that says, "I know you almost won, but you lost."
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think we can conclude it over here. Yes, it's important to have that little voice. If it can be within a person itself, that's great. Perhaps some people need someone else who's gonna be that voice for them.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. This was really fun. Appreciate it.
Yeah. I learned a lot, and I think that also others can take advantage of this conversation and learn a lot. So thank you very much. It was really great.
Thank you.
Thank you for being with us today. We had the opportunity to talk with Jody Bechtold, mainly about the treatment of gambling addiction, about issues connected with it, but also with paths forward to successful decrease of gambling-related harm. We also touched on the International Problem Gambling and Gaming Certification Organization, its goal, and also what their impact is going to be on the support providers for gambling addiction out in the world. See you next time.